Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have another candle haul for you guys today. I decided to stop at Bath & Body Works and Yankee Candle and do a little bit of fall candle shopping. So I only picked up 3 candles from Bath & Body Works yesterday during the sale, and that was enough. I didn't find anything there that really grabbed my attention, anything that I really wanted. There were 3 that we picked out. So let's get started with the Bath & Body Works candles. So I know this one isn't a traditional fall scent. It's not even a fall scent, but this is one that I sniffed and we absolutely fell in love with. This is the Lavender Bergamot. Now, I like lavender in my bathrooms because it just reminds me of like a nice spa. So I figured, why not grab one, and we will definitely see how that one goes. But the scent notes for Lavender Bergamot read: earthy florals with a refreshing pop of citrus. Fragrance notes: bright lavender, bold bergamot zest, and warm tonka bean. So I definitely get the lavender right off the bat. It's definitely a lavender candle. The bergamot adds a nice citrusy note to it. It's that bitter citrus because that's what bergamot is. It's a bitter citrus. And I don't get any tonka bean on cold, but that could always change when it's warming. I do smell a little bit of a warmness. Tonka does tend to smell slightly vanilla-like, but it's not exactly a vanilla. So this reminds me of when I was younger. I used to eat these lavender candies. That's very similar to what this reminds me of, so that's why I grabbed it. It definitely is a nostalgic scent for me. So the next one we got is a cult classic. It's a staple. Everybody knows of it, or some people like it, some don't. I personally absolutely love it, but this is Leaves. And the packaging is beautiful. It's a dark, earthy color. My store was out of the Leaves in the Bath & Body Works packaging, which had like the etches and drawings of leaves and all that on it. So the fragrance notes read: spiced, fruity, and oh so cozy. Basically everything you love about fall. Fragrance notes: crisp red apple, golden nectar, and warm clove spices. That's pretty much what you get. It's a juicy, sweet, spicy type of scent. The apple is more of like a mold type apple, so it's more of like that apple cider type apple, but it's not an apple cider scent. So I do get clove, but I also get some cinnamon, which isn't mentioned. Again, most of you guys know this one, love it. It's one of my favorites. I have to buy it every year for fall. So the next one that I grabbed is usually one that I've always overlooked. I've never really picked it up to even sniff it, but my best friend Nicole, she said, hey, if you want a coffee scent, because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a good coffee scent. And she recommended pumpkin spice latte. And this one reminds me of a Starbucks during fall. You get some of the baking notes, you get that. I don't get too much pumpkin on cold, but it could always change when I'm warming it up. Actually, no. I do get the slightest pumpkin scent, and it reminds me of that canned pumpkin puree. The notes for pumpkin spice latte reads: the sweet spiced coffee shop special you crave before the leaves even change colors. The notes: pumpkin pie spice, freshly brewed espresso, homemade whipped cream, and a sprinkling of cinnamon sugar. This is just a beautiful scent. I'm excited to light it up. I'm not usually a pumpkin coffee home fragrance person, but this year I really wanted to do something a little bit different. I did grab my pumpkin spice frap from Starbucks. I mean, it's not from Starbucks, but you know what I mean. This is the only way I will like a pumpkin spiced anything. So I'm excited to light that one up. That one I'm sure is going to perform very well. So let's get into the Yankee candles. So I did purchase 4 Yankee tumblers a couple of weeks ago. I didn't want to get too many. It was during a buy 2 get 2, and then I had some more rewards coupons. So it was basically for me a buy 1 get 3 just because of the amount of rewards that I had. So the first 4 are not really fall scents. One is, that's when it was originally released back in, I don't remember when it was released, but it was back maybe 2016, 2015. The 4 that I picked that are not very traditional fall scents, I mainly got those because I did buy a lot of heavy cinnamon and pumpkin spices, apple, so I wanted something to change that up. But going back to my first purchase, where I basically got a buy 1 get 3 free, I picked those up because I just wanted to give Yankee another chance. I've heard a lot of people saying that there was a lot of throw with the new formulation, some saying that there wasn't. So I really wanted to pick some up for myself to try out, and those 4 convinced me to purchase more fall candles. So we'll get into those ones a little bit later, but the 4 that I'm going to talk about first, like I said, I got them to kind of blend or burn between my heavy traditional fall scents just to refresh the palette, or in case I just get bored of the heavy spice and gourmands. So the first one that I got was Midsummer's Night. It's not a fall scent, it's year-round. And can I just say, I absolutely despise the label. I'm not a fan of the label. They really kind of made them look a little cheap, kind of like a Mainstays candle you would get at Walmart for like $4. But it is the 2-wick tumbler, it is the soy wax, and the scent description reads, "This is a fresh and clean fragrance, intoxicating and alluring. Midsummer's Night may inspire a romantic evening of stargazing on a cool summer night. Woody notes mingle with sage and citrus, scents to form an earthy, herbaceous cologne. The top notes are citrus, herbaceous, woody, bergamot, lime. The mid notes, lavender, pine, floral, sage. Base notes are cedarwood, vetiver, juniper berry, clary sage, and moss." So right off the top, I do get that bergamot, I do get the citrus, and then I do get the cedarwood. It's very heavy on cedarwood, and then that's followed in by the juniper berry. Do I get sage? Not really. Do I get moss? Slightly. This one has always been a strong performer for me. No matter what size I got, the large jar used to blow me out of the house. And even when Yankee was kind of scentless, I always had good experiences with Midsummer's Night. So the next one I got was Amber and Sandalwood. It doesn't want to, no, whatever. This one I've never picked up. I'm surprised I haven't because amber is one of my favorite fragrance notes for home fragrance, and sandalwood is one of my absolute favorite notes of all time. So the scent description reads, "This is a sweet and spicy fragrance. Warm yourself on a secluded beach with sun-drenched notes of driftwood, amber, and cardamom. Hints of caramel and patchouli round out this relaxing fragrance experience. The fragrance notes. The top notes are pepper, tonka bean, cardamom. Middle notes caramel, lavender, amber, and the base notes cedarwood, sandalwood, vanilla, and patchouli. Now, anything with patchouli in it, I'm a huge sucker for. Patchouli is my number one. I absolutely love patchouli. I love sandalwood, amber, in any form. It's just one of my favorites. So I do get a bit of a caramel note, but it's not like an edible caramel. It's more of like a caramel note that they would put in like perfumes and colognes, just to warm up a scent. So right at the top, I get a lot of cardamom. That is what I really noticed when I first lifted the lid in store. Then it leads into that rich caramel type of note. The lavender I do get slightly, but it's not very strong. And then it's very heavy on the sandalwood. The patchouli is there, but you might miss it. So if you don't like patchouli, still give this one a try because it's beautifully blended. And you're not going to smell a heavy patchouli type of note. So the next one is silver birch. Now this is one of my absolute favorites. I purchased this, I have one right here that I absolutely, it's one that I absolutely love. Now, this is what it looked like a couple years ago. The wax was a nice deep gray. It's still gray, but it's been lightened up quite a bit, as you could tell. I fell in love with this when it first launched, and I believe I don't remember exactly when it launched, but I remember it was like 2015, around then, but it released with chocolate layer cake, honey clementine, I believe, and there were a few others, but this is, for me, a perfect bedroom, bathroom scent, living room. You could pretty much burn it anywhere and it's going to fit in perfectly fine. So the scent description reads, this is a fresh and clean fragrance. Crisp fall air swirls among the just turning leaves of a silver bark birch tree. Notes of Siberian pine and eucalyptus add freshness, while a hint of patchouli contributes grounding spiciness. The fragrance notes are watery notes, ozone, Siberian pine, middle notes, clove, eucalyptus, and cypress, the base notes, pine and patchouli. So I definitely get the pine, eucalyptus, and patchouli in this. I don't get clove or the watery notes. I mean, I don't know what they would even consider a watery note, but I do get everything else. And this one I actually do sometimes burn in December with balsam and cedar or fresh balsam or any kind of pine scent, just to give it a cologne-y type feel. But this one is one of my favorites. It's been out for a while, and I really wanted to get the, that was something on my camera. I really wanted to get, stuff that I'm familiar with, stuff that I've burned before, and a lot of the classics, because I wasn't crazy about the newer fragrances. So again, I like lavender in my bedroom and bathrooms, so of course I had to get lavender vanilla. This is one of my all-time favorite scents from Yankee. It is the perfect lavender vanilla. This is what Bath & Body Works lavender vanilla used to smell like, but it's been changed so many times that it doesn't even smell like what it used to. But this one, I used to buy this in the large jars for my bathroom, and it was the perfect amount of scent. This time I decided to go with the 2-wick tumblers just because for me, they've always gave off a bit more of a fragrance throw. So the Scent notes for lavender vanilla. So I didn't actually write them down. I thought I did, but I didn't. So basically you're going to get that lavender, you're gonna get that vanilla. I do get a little bit of like a tonka and some slight musk. It's not going to be a heavy musky scent, but it's going to be just enough to give you that nice scent throw. So, like I said, now we're gonna go into like the heavier fall scents. And what I really wanted to do, like I said, I got the classics, some that I knew were going to perform and that have always performed well for me. So, starting off, we're gonna go with spiced pumpkin. So, funny story, this one is one of my first Yankee Candle purchases ever when I had my very first apartment. I was a customer service. I worked customer service at a grocery store, and the grocery store was right next door to our mall, which had a Yankee Candle. And one day I got off work and I just got paid. It was pretty much a free check. So, I went walking around. I needed some things for the apartment. And I walked by Yankee Candle and they had one of these burning. And I walked in. I never really even thought about buying candles for myself because my grandmother always bought them growing up. And she liked some that weren't always my favorite, but one of them was spiced pumpkin. And it just reminds me of my sisters running around or, playing and just having fun. So spiced pumpkin reads, "This is a sweet and spicy fragrance. Spiced pumpkin is the essence of autumn, a smooth, comforting fragrance. Blends pumpkin with notes of cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove. A dash of mallow vanilla and baked aromas round out the base to create a warm, satisfying gourmand scent." Now the fragrance notes are top notes citrus, orange, nutmeg, spiced pumpkin. Middle notes cinnamon, clove. And the base notes are vanilla and baked notes. Now right off the bat, this smells like you just opened up one of the Libby's pumpkin pie purees and put it in a bowl and mixed up some spices. Now, I do get the nutmeg and clove. I get a little bit of ginger, which is not mentioned. It could just be that nutmeg and the clove playing in there with the vanilla to give me a bit of a nutmeg note. But this one is one of my favorites. I used to buy it every year since then. It's so good. I can't wait to light this one up. So then I picked up sugared cinnamon apple. Now, I'm not sure if this is a repack of the apple spice. It used to have like cinnamon sugared donuts on the front of the label, and it smells very similar to it. I loved apple spice. I don't really remember what it smells like at this moment because it's been several years. But this one is so good. This really reminds me of sitting with, with my sisters, my family at this apple cider meal, sipping on apple cider, munching on cinnamon, apples, apple donuts. It's just, it's amazing. It's very warm, very fall. It is like a gourmand, but I typically don't do a lot of gourmands. So this one, I'm excited to really burn this one because I'm not sure how it's going to translate when it's warmed. But the notes read, "This is a fruity fragrance. The delicious aroma of crunchy apple slices, sugared with cinnamon and vanilla. The sweet and spicy fragrance will make you crave the fruits of autumn or a big mug of cider. Fragrance notes are the top notes, apple slices, middle notes, cinnamon cider sugar, base notes, fresh vanilla, nutmeg, and crushed clove. You truly do get all of those from this candle, and some candles you don't pick up all those notes, but this one is perfectly balanced. And again, it's very traditional fall. If you don't like gourmand or heavy bakery scents, I still recommend giving this one a try because you might like it, and it pairs so well with other scents. You could increase the apple by burning it with a Macintosh or any other apple you might have. So then the next one is Autumn Wreath, and like Spiced Pumpkin, this is the candle that I purchased with Spiced Pumpkin on my own for my very first apartment. My grandmother used to burn this one year round, and it really reminds me of my sisters and us just sitting, having a good time, you know, watching horror movies during the month of October. This just, it brings back so many good memories for me. So the scent notes reads, this is a fruity fragrance. Fall spice and apple notes create a cheerful welcome to your relaxing home. Woody notes in the base add extra warmth and charm to a hearth decorated with colorful gourds and autumn leaves. Fragrance notes. The top notes are green leaf, apple, middle notes, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and the base notes are woody notes and vanilla. I don't get any green leaf or any greenery. I do get apple. It's a strong apple cinnamon spice scent. The clove and nutmeg are also there. You do get some vanilla. But this is just a nostalgic scent for me. If you do not like apple spice scents, stay away from this one because this one has always been, again, a powerhouse for me. For around 2012, I noticed a lot of them started to smell basically unscented, and they weren't really doing what a scented candle should do. But even through those times, I was still able to get a light throw from Autumn Wreath. So I continue to buy it, and it's one that I buy every year. So the next one is Cinnamon Stick. I've always been a fan of that hardcore cinnamon, but I like to blend it with other notes. So this one, I'll blend it with like a vanilla candle, and it creates the most beautiful vanilla cinnamon scent I've ever, had, because this is a authentic cinnamon stick. It smells like you just opened up a container of cinnamon sticks, put your nose in it. That's what you get. So the scent notes reads, this is a sweet and spicy fragrance, a cool weather favorite. The realistic scent of imported cinnamon brings to mind spices or spiced apples and fruit pies baking in the kitchen. Notes of clove, cardamom, and cedarwood add even more warmth to the scene. The fragrance notes are top notes, cinnamon stick, middle notes, clove and cardamom, base notes, bay leaf and cedarwood. I don't get any cedarwood. This is, to me, straight up cinnamon. You do get some other spices in there, like the clove and I don't even pick up much cardamom. It's just straight up cinnamon. And this one is a powerhouse. It's always been a powerhouse. I prefer this one in the cooler months, but I love sparkling cinnamon in December. It's perfect. The next one is Cider House. This one is one that I picked up a few weeks ago with The next four are actually the very first fall purchase of this year. I've never picked up Cider House. I've always just kind of skipped by it, and I went for Spiced Pumpkin, Autumn Wreath, and I never really cared to pick this one up, and I'm so glad my sales associate recommended me try it because it is incredible. So I did burn the first four just to get an idea of the scent throw. This one, it's a powerhouse. You're going to smell it. There's no mistaking that you're burning a candle. So the scent notes for this reads, "This is a fruity fragrance. Discover the vintage charm of an antique red barn, nestled amid maple trees and crisp autumn leaves. Inside you're greeted by the sweet scent of Fuji apples pressed into cider, blended with mulling spice and a hint of honey. The fragrance notes, the top are Fuji apple, golden honey, the mid notes, cinnamon bark, clove, nutmeg, and the base notes, sandalwood, tonka, and vanilla bean." This is it's one of those scents that you have to really like a heavy spiced candle. There are some similarities to Autumn Wreath and even cinnamon sugared apple, but this one leans closer to that apple cider. And I wish they would bring apple cider back because it was one of my all-time favorites. I get a little bit of a bakery note from this, like a slight, not like a donut because you don't get that fried dough aspect, but it does have a nice mulled cider with like a baked good. This kind of reminds me of one of my favorite Mexican restaurants back home. They had a apple pie filled churro, and that's what this reminds me of. It smells almost identical to that. It's just missing that fried aspect. But it's a powerhouse. If you want a strong candle, this is the one to go with. So the next one is Autumn Leaves. You either love this or hate it. It's one of my personal fall staples. I have to have it year round. The scent for this is slightly different compared to the original paraffin large jar, but it's still that same essence. The scent description reads, "This is a woody fragrance, a vibrant medley of scents. Birch and maple leaves, fall fruits, and a hint of orange blossom swirl together in the breeze. Experience the ever memorable feeling of autumn, just as the leaves begin to fall. The fragrance notes, pomegranate, orange blossom, white pine needles. The middle notes, blackberry, juniper berry, rosemary. Base notes, birch leaf, red maple leaf, dried persimmon, tree leaves." So I definitely get the orange blossom. It's very faint. It's not a floral. Followed by the juniper berry. It's very heavy on that juniper berry. And that's pretty much what I get. I do get some rosemary off the top, but it's not like an herbal scent. The pomegranate, it adds a nice juiciness to the scent when it's actually burning. Next we have Macintosh. To me, Macintosh from Yankee Candle will forever be the perfect apple scent. It's very authentic. It's one of the most authentic apple scents that I've ever come across. And Yankee actually does apple scents the very best. So the scent description reads, "This is a fruity fragrance. This classic scent is so vividly real you can almost feel the sensation of that first bite of sweet, crisp apple. Top notes of greens and apple peel add freshness to the experience, which is completed with a hint of clove in the base. Fragrance notes, The top, apple peels, crisp greens, middle notes, rindy grapefruit, juicy Macintosh, the base notes, clove bud, and sheer musk. I don't get any of that. This is just straight up Macintosh apple. It's like having a bowl of apples sit out on your table or your kitchen counter. And it has a little bit of a green note on the top, which might be, you know, the greens. But that is just straight up what I get. Now, the strength of this, it's there. It's stronger than it's been in years. But I'm going to do a review of that shortly. Now, the last one I bought is Harvest. Now, this one reminds me of fall. When I smell it, that's what I get. It's the epitome of fall. I'm gonna put that back before I burn myself or drop it. But to me, Harvest reminds me of walking into a grocery store. When I was younger, I used to love to go with my grandmother shopping. We'd sometimes go to Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joanne Fabrics, because she was very big into crafting. And when those doors opened, I loved that rush of cinnamon and spice and clove coming at me from like those scented pine cones. And it's a very pleasant experience for me. It's a very pleasant scent that I will buy every year. So the scent notes read, or the scent description is, this is a sweet and spicy fragrance, the fragrance of the fall harvest, when everything feels abundant, a mellow combination of cinnamon and clove scents blended with notes of sweet apple and pumpkin to create a warm, welcoming sanctuary at home. The top notes are red hot cinnamon, the mid notes, cinnamon leaf, the base notes, vanilla, and musk. Now, I do get a slight musk, but it's not going to be like a musky type of scent. It's not like a perfume musk. I don't get red hot cinnamon. I don't. It's not like that harsh, sharp, like red hot cinnamon. When I think of red hot cinnamon, I think of those red hot candies or the big red gum, which I'm not really a fan of, and I never have been. So it does smell like a sugared, not a sugared cinnamon, but like a sweeter cinnamon with those slight, ever so slightly vanilla. But I do pick up more pumpkin and apple in this year's version, or the reformulated version, than I ever have at all. And I'm not mad at it. I'm really not. I actually really, really enjoy it. So I'm going to be reviewing everything because it's a new formulation. There's not a whole lot of info on the throw and performance of a lot of these. So stick around, and thank you so much for watching. Until then, see you later.